Today I found out I pissed off a client. This guy is actually really disappointed in me. That's kind of his words, kind of questioning whether he can trust me anymore, whether he is going to continue working with me. And that's kind of a hard thing to hear as someone who wants to influence people positively. And I've been kind of noodling on this and thinking about it and chewing on it for a while. And always the first question I ask is, have I done something wrong? Have I done something offensive? Have I done something inappropriate? And I can say confidently, clearly, without any hesitation, I have treated and responded to this person incredibly professionally, incredibly ethically, incredibly morally. I can stand before God and say, I know that I have delivered my best. So why in the world is this client so pissed off at me or so disappointed in the services that I'm providing? And it comes down to one key area that this guy is struggling with, and it's a theme that lots of other leaders struggle with. And it has to do with identity. He's come to me and he says, Paul, I recognize I need to grow or change or mature in this way or this area because here's what it's costing me. I know that it's affecting my relationships. I know it's affecting my personal peace. I know it's affecting my happiness in life. I know it's affecting my business. I know it's affecting my kids. It has this large trickle-down effect to everything in his life. And I need to work on it. My job as a coach, as an advisor, is to challenge, is to start to ask, why is this thing in your life? Why is the way you respond part of kind of how you interact with people? How did you become this way? How does it serve you? It's called a secondary gain, which is this thing in my life which isn't always most productive, but it is actually there because it serves me in some way. It keeps me safe, it keeps me happy, it keeps me, my reputation in place. Again, secondary gain. But this one area that I started to challenge this guy in had more to do with his identity. This is how he defines himself. This is how he sees himself at his very deepest core. And when I started to challenge that, when I started to ask, where do you think that got developed? Where do you think you learned that identity? Were you born with that identity? Meaning, is this kind of a nature-nurture thing? Is this a nature that's hardwired into your genetics? Or do you think this might have been a survival strategy that you've learned and developed throughout the years? And the unexpected on his part, the unexpected consequences is he does not want or is not ready to actively ask those questions yet. He's not ready to do that deeper introspective look or work that he needs to do because his identity is still fairly fragile, shall we say. And again, it's not a matter of bad character. Let's be really clear about that. It's not about bad character. He's not a bad person. He's not an immoral person. He's not an unethical person. He's a lovely human being, but the timing isn't right. He's not ready to do that. And so when I pushed, when I asked, when I challenged, when I gently started to poke at the thing that he kind of held on to most dear, it was a little bit too much for him. And so when people feel challenged or threatened in that way, when someone's identity feels threatened in that way, normal, everyday human response is, I'm going to lash out. I'm going to protect. It's that fight, flight, or freeze response. And he picked the fight one. He wanted to deflect and he wanted to point out how I am not supporting, helping, being positive in his life in some way because the challenges or the advising that I'm giving him isn't going exactly how he expected. And that's always the hardest, because a lot of influential people go, I have so much control over my life and every other area, I expect to have control over the guy who's advising me. And that's not how it works sometimes. My job is to come in and actually make you uncomfortable. One of the favorite phrases I've had or learned years ago is, my job is to come and bring comfort to the disturbed or to disturb the comfortable. And that's what I was doing. Again, appropriately, kindly, respectfully, professionally, ethically, morally, everything I was doing was fine. But the topic and the situation and the conversation was the deep end of the pool, and he wasn't quite ready to go there yet. And it's understandable. I bear no ill will towards this person whatsoever. I don't know if we're going to continue working together. I don't know if he is going to be ready to do that anytime soon. He may need to do that work with somebody else, simply because I got him from where he was to the next step, and now someone's going to take him from that step to the next one there. Sometimes those people come into and out of our lives that way. That's okay. That's how it works. But I would love to kind of see how the story ends. I'm always curious about how someone's going to turn out, the work they're going to do. And sometimes the timing and the person has to be right. One of the things that drives my wife crazy, just drives her nuts about me, is she'll tell me to do something, or she'll point out something about me, and I quickly and immediately blow it off. I don't listen. I don't take it to heart. And she'll kind of see this in me. She'll kind of repeat it. She'll kind of point it out, again, kindly, gently, respectfully. And I'm just not in the space to listen. And then 6 months from now, I'll go out to lunch with my best friend, Bill. He'll point out the exact same thing. I'll come back to my wife and I'll go, you wouldn't believe this amazing lunch I had. Bill pointed out this thing about me and he was so right. I really do need to work on this area in my life. And she's ready to throw a fist. She's like, are you kidding me? I can't believe that you would let Bill tell you that when I've been telling you that for the last 20 years of our marriage. And it's a little embarrassing to say, but she's right. Sometimes I wasn't in the space to hear it, wasn't in the space to listen, wasn't ready to be receptive. And that's on me. That's in my heart. Has nothing to do with her, has nothing to do with Bill. So again, why in the world am I telling you this? What's the point of this video? For people who are influential in the world, who have the opportunity to lead teams, lead organizations, who have the opportunity to speak into many people's lives, one of the hardest things to have challenged are the core areas of your life that you find your identity in. And when you can find somebody that you respect, that you trust, that you are willing to be open and vulnerable and transparent with, when they start to do the poking, when they start to ask the hard questions, when they start to see you in ways that nobody else has seen you, you have a choice. You can either continue to try to defend that ego that you have, that identity that you have, or you can choose to say, even though this is massively uncomfortable, even though this is massively hard, and even though I don't know kind of where we're going with this, I'm still going to trust that the advisor that I'm working with, the coach that I'm working with, the person I've put my trust in, still has my best interest in mind and is still actively trying to help me become a better person. That is a level of humility, that is a level of maturity, that is a level of self-awareness that, again, most leaders don't have. But the invitation is, if you want to find it, if you want to have it, if you want to figure out how to develop that in your life, it might be time to start inviting someone into your life who's going to ask those hard questions in a kind, loving, respectful, appropriate, professional sort of way, so that you can get unstuck. You can become the next best version of yourself. It's not a bad way to spend a day, wouldn't you say?